Hello, bros. Welcome back to New Book Arrivals. I believe it's number 322. 322, is it? I believe so. Is it 322? Should say right on the video, but for, yeah, it's 322. When was this one? All right, I'm done with that. Save. All right. First book, Wonderland by Joyce Carol Oates. I'm not a particular fan of Joyce Carol Oates, but this was only a quarter, and I picked it up. Nominated for the National Book Award in 1971, Wonderland is the haunting story of Jesse Vogel, from a boyhood shattered by the loss of his family through the rigors of medical school and the demanding life of neurosurgery. Sounds boring as hell. This book is going to the sale for sale pile. I've already sold 3 books today, so I'm feeling pretty good about selling stuff. Hi, Colette. How are you? Or Colleen? The Mirror and the Light by Hilary Mantel. And it's not coincidental I picked that one up because I've picked up 2 Hilary Mantel books. I usually don't because they're not worth anything, even though they've won Booker Prize, whatever they are. But books don't seem to be worth anything. I think the market's way too saturated with Hilary Mantel. What is this one? Though he battled for years to marry her, a story told in Wolf Hall, Henry is now disenchanted with Anne Boleyn. She has failed to give him a son, and her sharp intelligence alienates his old friends and the noble families of England. At a word from Henry, Thomas Cromwell is ready to bring her down. Goodwill. I didn't buy this from Goodwill. Someone did though, and paid $1.29. This one, following her peerless book prize-winning novel Wolf Hall and Bring Up the Bodies. Isn't that what this is? Yeah, that is Bring Up the Bodies. Hilary Mantel now traces the final years of Thomas Cromwell, the boy from nowhere who climbs to the heights of power. The Mirror and the Light offers a defining portrait of predator and prey. What do you got, bruv? Of ferocious contest between present and past, and of a modern nation making itself through conflict, passion, and courage. Yeah, the writer is well accoladed. Is that a word? Accoladed. I already have a copy of this. 129 well spent. Nah, I didn't spend 129. Where did I get this? I'm trying to think which store I got this from. It was either 50 or 25 cents. I don't go to Goodwill anymore. They're too expensive. But someone bought it at Goodwill, and then I got it for half that price. I'm not pulling that shit off. You read Hilary Mantel, bruv? This book skates, Solars, and schizophrenics, Mental Illness in Rural Ireland by Nancy Shepper Hughes. I already have a copy of this somewhere, but I think it's a big, awkward, ugly coffee table size book, and this is a reprint 25th year anniversary, or so it says. 20th anniversary edition, but when was this published? Early 2000s, I guess. 2001, so now it's like 45 year. 44 year anniversary, bruv. I have read Wolf Hall. Been meaning to explore more of her work. Right, bruvs. I've never read Wolf Hall or Wolf Alice, for that matter. Saints, Scholars, and Schizophrenics. Although I do have at least 2 copies of Wolf Hall. I bought it. I usually only buy writers whose books aren't worth much. I only buy their first editions, but when they're cheap for 25 and 50 cents, I get them. This one I bought for the resale value, even though it's got some jizz-laden, smashed corner. I can still get something for it. I have another Frida McFadden book that I need to sell. I sold the whole bulk of them for like 50 or 60 bucks on eBay about a month ago, so it's always nice. But no one at the thrift stores picks these up, even though they're 50 cents, and I always get them. So I can make the money and then buy stuff I actually want. Crabgrass Frontier, the suburbanization of the United States, which is problematic because the suburbs, especially in the Detroit area, are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what is it? I think there's 8 million people in the suburbs and 600,000 in Detroit. So anywhere you go, it's just fucking laden with traffic and it's torturous. And you go downtown Detroit, you can drive around freely because there's not that much traffic. It's bizarre. But that's what happens when you have Marxists running cities. They eventually destroy them, and they did Detroit. So this ought to be interesting. Crabgrass Frontier. What year was it written? I guess the 80s. 85. And this is the 87 edition. I don't know how much of the info is current. I doubt much. Professor of history at Columbia University is the author of the Ku Klux Klan in the city. All right. The warning. Christine Watkins, Testimonies and Prophecies of the Illumination of Conscience. I do plan on Minneapolis is going to be the next Detroit, I hear. Yeah, probably. This is another book that will sell because people like the end of times, and although this one doesn't look like it's. Oh, what's this shit? What is this shit? I thought it said, will the Illuminati of conscience come soon? No, buddy. Oh, wait, a note to non-Christians. I better read this. Before you put this book down, I would primarily like to address those readers who may have grudgingly accepted to peruse this book to escape being pestered by a religious friend or relative who may be well-meaning, but who makes your eyes glaze over once they begin their habitual God talk. Having little sympathy for such piety, your heart may have sunk already if you took a sneak preview of the contents. Perhaps you noticed endorsement from priests and resolutely Catholic expressions that may strike you as being about as comprehensible as a particularly remote dialect of Martian. So you're at the point of giving up before you've started. No, I'm going to sell this book and make some money, man. There she is. Hey, buddy, don't give up on me. Authentic accounts of saints and mystics of the church who have spoken of a day when we will all see our souls in the light of truth, and fascinating stories of those who have already experienced it for themselves. Here's another pile of stuff I'm going to sell. And I mean, it's not my intent to buy books that I'm going to sell, but it happened that way. I saw 3 of these together, and I was like, all right. Probably not worth much, and I don't really give a shit about mysteries. So there's 3 of a series. Awful covers. And they were all seemingly purchased on thrift books by somebody. But I'm going to sell them. A Murdoch Mystery. See, another thrift books. I wonder how much thrift books is charging. Anyway, I'm going to try to get, what did I pay, $250 for these all together? If I can get $20 for them, that'd be great. A small farm future, making the case for a society built around local economies, self-provisioning agricultural diversity, and a shared earth. Chris Smaj. There was some kind of kids thing in here. What is this? Brian made something. It's cute, Brian. Here's this book. I tried to do some farming in my yard. Between the squirrels and the fact that we don't get any rain, except for thunderstorms between July and September, is a bit of a problematic thing for farming. The only thing I seem to be able to grow are wildflowers, and I grow them in abundance. Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion. Another book I plan to sell, but it's not worth enough to put it on eBay. Oh no, there's some underlining. Oh dear. The Bane, but it's still worth 50 cents. 50 cents. Yeah, lots of underlining. That sucks. Well, so much for me selling this, but I could probably sell it to thrift books. Probably give me $2 for it. Really need to sell to those bastards more. The Hardcore Diaries by Mick Foley, a book I never would buy. Blunderlining, more like it. Right! And I would never probably buy this book, but good old Mick, he went and signed it for a guy named Simon, so now I have a signed Mick Foley book, and that's probably a $20. My sandwich with Candace. That all this at the See No Evil premiere. Oh, it's I thought it was Melania, but it's Melina. I was like, what the fuck's he hanging around with Melania Trump? Why does he look so short? Is he a short guy? Hey, I'm a wrestler, boy. Blurred from Batman. I could have swore that was the guy that sold me the books at Salvation Army tonight. Maybe he's Simon. So yeah, you're going away. This one I'll keep. The Priest and the Medium. The Amazing True Story of Psychic Medium. Of psychic medium B. Ann Gemin and her husband, former Jesuit priest Wayne Knoll, PhD. Forward by Alison Dubois. When were these people alive? Wayne felt an emptiness that only a woman could fill. After almost 20 years of religious training, he made the wrenching decision to leave the priesthood, not knowing if he would find the love he sought. Wayne crossed the campus on his way from the faculty dining room to Old North. When does this take, you bastard? Most young children have vivid imaginations. That seems like an extra cost. That's not worth it to a book, but I mean, seems like a lot of extra ink. What's this son of a bitch around? John F. Kennedy is going to die. The thought flashed through Anne Gemin's mind yet again that warm November morning, and her hand slipped. All right, so that gives us some idea. The patient by her left hip jerked his head in surprise as the saliva ejector sucked noisily at his cheek. Miss Gammon, Dr. Collins turned to admonish his young assistant and shook her head and apologized as she repositioned the tube behind the patient's lower teeth. So she was already a nurse at this point. So she's got to be in her 20s and the 60s. So the story's probably going to take place in the 70s and 80s. All right. That's better than the 2000s because people in the 2000s suck. Probably could have found this out earlier, but The Priest and the Medium is a wonderfully rich and inspiring tale of two exceptional people. Alfie and Me, What Owls Know, What Humans Believe. It's a 10-cent book. I couldn't pass up a 10-cent owl book. Hope you enjoy this as much as the saga of Squeak, your sis, and Carl Safina, a predator returned to the wild. Alfie and Me. Hope Alfie ate some shit, because he's a champ. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Carl Safina, 100 Years of W. Norton. 2023, so it's relatively new, too. Look at that guy. Author of Becoming Wild and Beyond Words. What does this bird know? This is a book about a foundling owl and infinitely more. As it turns out, the universe and all its mysteries, our relationship with our wild kin, and a better future for ourselves and the planet all are reflected through the prism of an 8-inch ball of feathers named Alfie. Carl Safina has never been more eloquent or more urgent. Alfie and Me is masterful. Hiroshima, or is it Hiroshima? By John Hersey. Hersey? I always thought it was John Hershey, but it's John Hersey. Hersey, bruv. It's in really good shape, and if it had a dust jacket, it'd be worth some good money, but it does not. 1946. Panic Grass and Feverfew. Eventually, I'm going to have to sell most of these books because I'm starting to run out of room. But this is a really nice copy for... How much did I pay for this sumbitch? Where was I when I bought this? Where was I? I don't even know. Where was I? Oh, yeah. I was at the Salvation Army. That was $1. The Cruel Sea, I believe this was supposed to be a quarter, but the bitch at the thrift store, who knows what she did, but she charged too much. This is going to be for my work, bruv. Who said, hey, get me some books on the sea. I think he meant classics, and not this kind of shit, but for a quarter, which I thought it was going to be. It was worth it, but I think she charged me... Who knows how much that bitch charged me, but fuck her. 7 French novels edited by C. Hyde. I think it's 1941. 1943 by Garden City Publishing Company. They had this book. There's another one by Emile Zola, Wise and Company. And then there was a third one by, what's his name, Will Durant. Who was the one that wrote the big one about Rome? Anyway, it was abbreviated, so I just said I ain't buy. Not abbreviated, but abridged. And then I was like, I'm not buying that shit. I don't want no abridged copies. Of course, these all could be abridged too. How short are these books? Madame Bovary is only 40 some pages. I don't know. Maybe these are abbreviated as well. Pierre. Gorgo. Sappho. Alphonse Daudet. Here we go. Here's a good one. The Habsburgs. The big chin motherfuckers. Andrew Wheatcroft. So these don't look like they have the big Habsburg chin. I hate when books have that. It really pisses me off. What the fuck? Dirty bastards. Let's see if there's some Habsburg chins in here. It's the whole reason why I collect the Habsburg family. This guy kind of has it. This fucker don't. Jesus, look at that guy. Hey, buddy. Hey. Bob Kelly. 10, 11, 20, 96. I think these are the normal relatives. She's kind of got it. She's hot, whoever she is. Katharina Schratt, the intimate friend of Emperor Franz Joseph I. She's hot too. Franz Joseph's favorite portrait of his wife, the Empress Elizabeth Winterhalter, at his most romantic. What, bruv? You want some of these bitches? Who's this fucking Dapper Dan? Hey, buddy, I got a little fucking stash here. She's got a bowl cut without having a bowl cut. Look at that hair. How can the top of her head be flat? Look at this fucking gargoyle. Ferdinand. Isn't he the one that got assassinated? You can see why. Look at that fucking... Look at that hair. That's some windswept hair, Bubba. So there must be the more ancient Habsburgs that are the chin motherfuckers. These guys just all look like pedophiles. And he fucking did this one. What do we got left? Patricia Cornwell, Post Mortem, which is a impress mystery. It's got the embossed cover. Probably worth about $7 or $8. And I paid $0.25 for it. At least I was supposed to pay $0.25 for it. Where the fuck was I when I got this? Yeah, it was at that place. And how much did that bitch charge me? I don't know. Don't care. Post Mortem. The white clock face floated like a full moon in the dark sky, rising high above the old domed train station, the railroad tracks, and the I-95 overpass. Where's this? Florida. Best known works of Emile Zola. Again, 1940-ish. 1941 Blue Ribbon books. Come on, fucker, turn into it. The Book League of America. I thought these books were part of a series. That one's a different. It's not Book League of America, was it? Aren't these the same fucking binding? They sure the fuck are. What the hell's going on here, then? Yeah, they're different. What's up with that? I thought these were like part of a set. Not that I was looking to get the set, because there's usually like 50 books in that set, but what's up with that? Yeah, it's pretty much the same binding, but different publishers. Weird. Weird, Bubba. I don't really know much about Emile Zola. Is Zola a dude or a female? Nana. Not a long fucking book here. How long is Nana? Is that all there is Nana? I thought it was like Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just Nana. Nana. But it was selected works. Best known works, including Nana, the Miller's Daughter, and Nantaz. Is that like grandma or grandpa? Nantaz. The death of Olivier Bacall Burl. I guess Nana doesn't go the entire length of the book. Hi, Bob says, okay. We got 2 more books. The Puritan Dilemma, the story of John Winthrop. 25-cent book. 25-cent. Didn't he kill witches? You say he couldn't avoid the dung heap? Is that what I just read? He couldn't avoid the dung heap, bruv. There it is. Williams would not learn the lesson which Winthrop had taught him so painfully before he left England that there was no escape from the dung heap of this earth. That's fucking brilliant. And that those who sought one or thought they had found it acted with an unholy, not a holy violence. Winthrop watched the subsequent development of Williams's view along a course he might. Oh, shit. And lastly, Oblique Prayers by Denise Levertov. New poems with 14 translations from Jean Joubert. Does that mean she's translating Jean Joubert? Or did she write in a foreign language? Ancient cat. Cat, old as this village, old as roots. Each morning your eyes, one of them veiled, are larger. What do you see in the haze between rock and cypress? These days you lie stretched on my chest to maintain your vigil. My blood pleases you, your claws read me. On your scrawny spine I place this hand, which knows and wants not to know. Is that it? I think that was it. It's pretty bad. With eyes made keen by watching your face, I've seen at dusk the sea violet, the beckoning points of light, then moon water. Up and under the sea, a forest supports the decaying city, which once was a place of levies, of spices, of a great fleet, of a lean and haughty countenance cast in somber gold, place of genius, of war, of savage prisons. The chill trees, robed in salt and blackness, uphold the squalor, the marvel. The city is sliding toward its death. It is piazzas. Gray birds look for the long ago leaves. Right, I guess that's it. We got nothing.